congratulations to both of you. And thank you for being in this film, because I was saying to Terry earlier, we just don't see enough of these big, sweeping, historical epics anymore that have, the underlying love story, but it's just so beautiful when you can see a film like that. Was that main draw, first of all, for both of you?
Absolutely. When I was reading it, I thought, Doctors of Virgo, we're going to watch the love story, but then we're going to learn a lot about the early 20th century in Turkey, last days of the Ottoman Empire, and these pashas. But the love story is going to keep us on our chair, and then subliminally we're going to learn so much about what took place 110 years ago, and some people still cannot accept it as a genocide. This is really funny.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say. Well, first I'll ask you. I mean, how you do play a real life person, and an amazing ambassador, an amazing man at the time.
Extraordinary.
Tell me a little bit about the research and what you learned about him, and what an honor to play a man like him.
I didn't know anything about Henry Morgenthau before I was offered this role, and I knew something about the Armenian genocide, but not only what he did when he was in Turkey, but then when he went back to the United States, how he continued, the fact that he wrote his memoirs, which is really the strongest and most accurate record we have of the genocide, because the Turkish government destroyed so much of the evidence, and so much time has transpired that deniers can get away with saying it never really happened. The Armenians left of their own accord. We had to do that. They were fighting a second front, supporting Russia. So I learned about his work with Polish, helping the people in Poland after the pogroms in Poland, and his continued work with the Armenians. He's just a principled, dedicated, just human being.
Yeah, extraordinary. And you watch this movie and you think, have things changed?
Nah.
Sadly?
No.
No. I mean, how pertinent is it for people to watch this and see,
Especially for us, when we were filming it at the same day, during the day we were filming this genocide, and we're watching genocides on the news in Europe, and every night. Thousands of Syrians are walking out now, thousands of Iraqis, refugees, Yemenis refugees, Sudanese refugees. It's like you think, is there an end to this? And the only sort of answer that I could come up with was that, yes, through awareness. Perhaps if we make people aware of what happened 110 years ago, then they would do the comparison themselves, think, wait a second, it's still happening. Is there a way to stop this? As of then, we can take it from there and work on it.
Yeah,
hopefully.
James?
Yeah, I think the purpose of doing these films is, obviously no one can reverse what happened in the genocide. But if we had a little more compassion towards the people of Armenia, we might look with more compassion on the people in Syria and Yemen, and see that they are now, today, going through, we abhor what happened to the Armenians. We should feel the same way about the people of Africa and the Middle East who are suffering under this barrage, this genocide. Actually, it is a genocide.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You guys both of you have made so many wonderful, amazing films, but when you make a movie like this, is it hard after, wrap to kind of, I can't imagine you go home and go, okay, forget about it. You can't. I don't think.
You can't. It's not just staying with the character. It's the story.
Yeah.
That, especially if it's relative, if it speaks for today, then another night you're home, it's finished, you're watching news, and it reminds you of the Armenian genocide, the promise. It stays with you for quite a long time.
Yeah.
You can't tell what's going to make a difference. It only has to touch one person, and then that person has to take an interest and begin to educate themselves, and then go out and start to talk about it and see if they can be of any assistance, and bring it up and protest. People are now understanding how effective going into the streets are. We certainly could protest in front of the Turkish embassies for the Turks to finally come to terms with this.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to both of you. You're just both
Thank
extraordinary
you.
in this movie, and always a pleasure for me to be able to talk to both of you. Thank you so much.